midday, and my parents had left me home alone. I would be alone for around 12 hours, as they had gone to another city that was a good distance away. It was all fun and games, literally, just playing video games and reading. Nighttime on this particular night seemed to arrive relatively quickly, and I had always been paranoid because weird things would constantly happen around my house. Not paranormal or anything like that. I was in the living room, and I could see through the medium-sized windows the beautiful sky outside. Almost immediately after acknowledging the view outside, I began to hear loud walking coming from my backyard. I could tell it was footsteps due to the freshly fallen leaves on the ground. A rock-hard knot began to develop in my throat. I moved to the kitchen and grabbed a knife and peeked outside the kitchen window. That's when I saw a large dark figure sprinting at the other end of the house outside. I just knew they were probably attempting to break in. What seemed like a few seconds later, I heard the front doorknob being messed with, and I ran to the bathroom to hide with my knife while the intruder continued messing with the door. After a while of being unsuccessful, he seemed to give up, and I ran to check if he had gone. From the window I was looking through, I heard a voice coming from what seemed like the corner of the window. I jerked my head to the corner to see eyes, and what he said next still sends shivers all over my body.
"I'll be back for you."
I ran to my room, ready to die, but of course I didn't. That was 3 months ago. No sighting of him yet. I'm 14 and live in a rural area. My nearest neighbor is about a mile away. It was late on a Thursday night and there was a bad storm. I had the house to myself. My dad was out of town working that night. I was doing my normal routine and cooked some dinner. Played some Call of Duty. While I was playing, I heard a loud bang. I jumped but then realized it was thunder. Well, some time passed and I had all the lights off, but there was a light coming through my window, so I peeked out the blinds and saw a car stopped in my driveway. I thought they were just turning around, so I went back to playing the game. The lights were gone when I got back to my desk. They turned, I told myself, so I laid down and watched some TV. I was almost asleep when I heard a knock at the front door. My German Shepherd and I jumped up. I wonder why my dad is back, I thought to myself. So I got up and peeked out the blinds and saw a black figure. I ran to my room and texted my dad. "Are you at the door?" I asked him. He texted back, "No, get the gun and call the police." So I locked my door and grabbed the pistol out of my nightstand. I called the police and they said it would be up to 15 minutes to get to where I lived. "Open up," I heard from the front door. About 5 minutes later, I heard the kitchen window break. No, I thought to myself. My dog started barking furiously. "Hush," I said quietly, but it was too late. The man busted down my door, and I had no choice. I had to. For me and my dog's life, I had to shoot. I shot him 3 times in the chest. He dropped. I grabbed my dog and ran to my four-wheeler and drove into the woods and waited till the cops showed up. I was in tears. I just took someone's life. The officer said I did the right thing. They took me back to the station until my dad came and got me. I still have nightmares till this day about it. My oldest brother loves to take very late night walks, to the point that he takes strolls around midnight to very early morning hours. He's quite introverted and loves solitude, which I assume is why he enjoys it so much. Previously, I had no real concerns about him doing so, as our neighborhood area is very quiet and we don't get much trouble from people or our neighbors. However, after this incident, we are quite cautious about anyone, especially in our family, taking late night walks. But I guess we should have been that way to begin with. It all began when my brother decided to take a walk around the block at around 1 a.m. And for the most part, it was a relaxing walk, but he felt as though there was someone nearby, but not really close enough to cause alarm or anything like that. After a while, he began to hear very quiet footsteps moving at a gradual pace behind him, which would stop whenever he would turn around. This happened nearly every time he would stop and turn his back. This began happening after having walked a fair distance from our home, so it began unnerving him. It was almost as if the footsteps mirrored his pace. As he reached our front door and dug for his house key, he heard a very soft sigh, and what happened next shocked me to the very core. I do believe him, as I know my brother would never lie about something as creepy or shocking as this. He opened the door with the house key, and just as soon as he went to close the door behind him, he saw a face staring right back at him, eyes wide open as if the stranger was as shocked as he was. My brother described him as a man of slim build at about 5'10", with a thick beard. But what confused my brother the most was that the stranger didn't say anything at all. He didn't even move. He compared him to a cardboard cutout that would be at a cinema that depicts an actor. He quickly shut the door, locked it, and did the same with all of our windows and doors in our house. He later told us that he could hear leaves rustling and crackling just outside of his bedroom window. We live in a bungalow with my mother, and his bedroom is near the front of the house, by the front door. He could also hear whispering that sounded slightly muffled, like if you put your hand over your mouth and try to speak. My brother told me about all of this the following morning, and since then, he has not spotted the stranger ever since. It's almost like he disappeared as quickly as he appeared.
She rises with